the people. But the law of truth doesn't dance around your emotions. It's not trying to make friends with your ego. It's not trying to be friends. It just comes in and says that's not true. Or, yes, that's true, you're right, that's true. So I didn't always know that. I was having a lot of problems in my relationships for a long time until I started working with this law of truth more consciously and be like, okay, like when we're in like groups and things, you can't just spout out that's not true. Like we have to find a way to work together a little better here. But nonetheless, it's amazing because when you start accessing the law of truth, it will give you truths. Now, isn't that amazing? People don't know that here. They don't have any discernment. They don't know what the truth is. They're all lost. They don't know who to believe. Why? Because they're giving their power to someone outside of them. That's separation. That's what happens in 3D. You don't know. Who can you trust? Who can you go to? You can't trust anyone here because it's all controlled by fear, domination, and manipulation. There's no one you could trust here. But over here, you start trusting Source. And yes, you trust other beings who you also know are aligned with service to the greater good. They're not going to lie to you here because they're working with the law of truth, whether they know it or not to some degree. They're following the 6-dimensional laws in order to anchor into 5D. Make sense? Okay. So that's law of truth. I love law of truth. Okay, now let's go to law of cause and effect. Law of cause and effect says there's always a creation. Everything creates something, and everything has an effect. Every effect has a cause, and every cause will have an effect. Simple, right? So over here, law of cause and effect, if you steal, you will be stolen from. Perfect example. If you kill, you will, chances are, you will go to jail. Law of cause and effect. There are causes and there are effects. It's not just if you get caught. Hello, come on in. It's not a matter of just getting caught. It's that the universe has a perfect record, storing a record of everything that ever has happened and ever will happen. Where is that record stored, by the way? In the Akashic Records. Does everyone know what the Akashic Records are? Anyone not know? If you don't know, okay, then I'm assuming everybody knows.
We can explain it.
Okay, so I'll take a little diversion from the laws. The Akashic Records is a field. It doesn't actually exist in place, space, or time, but it does at the same time, paradox, exist in space and time. It's a field, a frequency, where all thoughts, belief, everything that has ever existed is stored. Everything that has ever existed, ever will exist, is stored. So if a book was written in 1492 and you want to read a book from 1492 but you can't find it in a library, you actually can go to the Akashic Records and receive the information that's stored in a book. You find a book on a table or here. I actually teach this in my psychic development class. With books, you can put your hands on the books and you can receive all the information that's in the book. It's not stored in the book, it's stored in the records. You can get the truth about humanity's history from the records. So over here, they're lying to us, telling us we have one history, which isn't true, and for manipulation and domination. But over here, you start getting straight downloads from the records once you learn how to work with them. You can access all kinds of information. All right, so that's kind of the records. All your past lives, which really aren't past lives, by the way. Past lives are parallel existences where your consciousness is still having an experience, because you haven't soul retrievaled that. You haven't retrieved your soul from that timeline. Does that make sense? Who knows what soul retrieval is? Never heard of that? Okay, some of you have. So soul retrieval is where you pull back. Oh, I'm diverting, sorry. I'll give you, so who's a dowser in here? Anyone a dowser? Okay. I've dowsed for myself. How much of my soul is embodied in my body? And I get, when I douse, between 85 and 90%. That's a very, very high number. The majority of humans who are waking up, like the majority of humans is like less than 10%. I've had lost souls. This is funny, my ex-husband's lost soul. I mean, he used to come to me and be like, please, can you keep talking to me because I need someone in the physical world to talk to the soul, to help the soul get into the body, because the human is so disconnected from their soul. They're floating like a string, you know, a little teeny string. They can't even get in the body. The soul is a lost soul. Right? It's never so lost. But that's what cords, right? Energetic cords, right? So I've had loss. I used to, when I first started waking up, I'd have like dead people and dead animals, like they're never dead, come to me and be like, hey, you know, can you get through to my human that I'm still here? But now I have these lost souls come to me, help me get in the body. All right. So the average human doesn't, you know, over here, 10%, if they're lucky, you know, floating around, they just come so disconnected. they're never lost, really. You can always recall the soul. It's just, where is the soul? Where are they? They're floating around in other dimensions of reality. That's why when you have these experiences where something goes on in your life that's completely, you're like, that was just a knee-jerk reaction, or something upsets you, you can't understand why you're so upset. What is that? It's some wound from a parallel reality. Make sense? Mm-hmm. You have to heal and resolve that wound. That's why healing circles like this are so important. You call back those aspects of you back home. You start reuniting with yourself. You don't exist. It's not that you don't exist on that timeline. It's that your consciousness is no longer there, and you're no longer having an experience there. So you get more unity within your own self. Make sense? It's a little, that could be a whole 4-hour discussion right there. But anyway, so that's a kind of a soul reunion, right? We all want to do soul reunion. This is very, very important at this time, because part of going into this future is as you align with the one, you are the one of your creation. You need to be fully aligned with your oneness. Make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's go back to the laws. Any questions? Because I know that was like a lot, big diversion. Okay, so but anyway, that's the Akashic records. Is all your soul lifetimes are there. All your past, present, future parallel lifetimes exist in the Akashic records. There's a record. Just because you call back your soul from another timeline, or fragments of your soul, or just because you heal and resolve issues from another parallel lifetime, does not mean the record goes away. It's that it becomes innocuous. The information is there. There's no longer any charge. You get to say, yeah, I know I was like raped on another lifetime, but yeah, I'm totally healed and resolved. I don't have any pain or trauma or drama left over. There's no knee-jerk triggers or trauma or emotional reaction. I'm not wounded in any way. I just have a memory. Yeah, I was beheaded in another lifetime. Yeah, I was burnt as a mistake for being a witch. I have those memories. Many of us do. Right? I have a memory of it, but there's no charge on it. So the Akashic records still store the information. I still have the access to the information, but no soul is lingering there having the experience in the now moment anymore, even though from a dimension of reality everything's going on all at the same time. There's no soul witnessing there, so it's not happening in another way. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. It's paradox. Paradox means two weird things that can't seem to coexist, Yeah? Okay.
Now, if you're saying everything's going on at the same time, does that mean what we're going to do in this round is already in the Akashic records?
Yes.
Okay. Is there like different paths in the Akashic records?
Oh yeah. Think about this. Think about it this way. You live in Florida. You want to head to Oregon. Mm-hmm. How many routes can you take to Oregon? I mean, you can fly to Oregon, you can drive, there's untold routes, and who even knows what's possible if you can go underground, that possibility exists, and teletransportation, that possibility exists, maybe you could astral travel, I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so, all right, I'm going to come back to the laws, but let's just say, there are infinite dimensions of reality, they're all going on simultaneously. Quantum physics validates that we exist in those realities to the extent that our consciousness is there. If your consciousness, this is, you have to have a witness or an awareness for your consciousness to be there. So some aspect of source consciousness is there, and the Akashic records store the record of it. But if your consciousness isn't really in there, if your energy is not engaged in that space, it's just energetic consciousness. It's not your soul. Your unique soul is no longer embedded in that reality. This is why, as time, linear time progresses, old realities are dropping off. Old potentials that used to exist. 4 years ago, maybe we thought we might have World War III. Lightworkers have done so much freaking work, there's no possibility for it anymore. That possibility has dropped out of this reality. That is not part of our future. Make sense? 4 years ago, we might have had another economic collapse. But we've done so much work on our money issues, our self-worth, our self-value issues. That possibility is dropping off. Now it's going to be a much more benevolent changeover, which we can kind of see happening. So, make sense? And let me come back to the laws, and then I don't want to talk all night, because I could talk all night. Like, I love talking. I really do. Thank you for laughing.
Just one more thing.
Yeah, no, that's the way I am. I'm like that. One more thing. All right, so let's come back to the laws, because this is really where we're going to make so much change for our future when we start really understanding these laws. So we got cause and effect. Okay, let me say why cause and effect is so important. When you ask a question of the universe and you don't answer it, law of cause and effect steps in. What is the effect of a question asked? An answer must be provided. Now, this is what I do. When I do this all the time, I tell people, this is one of the best things you will hear all night. Start asking the universe, what is the highest and best possibility for me in my life? What's the highest and best possibility? The first time I ask a question like that, people start answering it. Why would you answer it? Why would you let your limited mind answer that question? Let the universe answer it, because it's way better than our human minds can possibly fathom. You're going to go, anyone have a pet with a sickness, illness? Human family member with a sickness? Anyone ever needed to go to a vet or a doctor? If you go to the vet or the doctor, oh my God, I'm so nervous, I might have cancer, I might have endometriosis. What do you think you're creating?
Your reality.
Your reality. So you go to the doctor. Now this is happening on commercials, brainwashing.
Right.
Do you have the symptoms of endometriosis? Have you seen it on 5 million commercials now? She's on the table half naked, and the doctor's there think it's a woman doctor. How friendly. Woman having a woman doctor. And then her other version of herself is saying, tell her all your pain. Tell her all your pain. Tell her how bad your periods are. Can you see the brainwashing going on there? Over here we can see the brainwashing. Over here they can't see it. So the brainwashing is, do you have bad periods? Do you have cramps? If you have cramps, you might have endometriosis. If you have painful periods, you might, so suggestions happening. Then the person naturally, their consciousness goes, I have cramps, I might have endometriosis. You see how creation happens over here? You can see how that's fear, domination, and control going on. That's not like, ask the universe, what's the highest and best when I go to my doctor? What's the highest and best truth? Law of truth. Going to give you the highest and best truth. What's the highest and best possibility? Law and cause and effect. Going to give you the highest and best possibility. Can you see how powerful you become here? What's the highest and best possibility for all of planet Earth? For our future. Now, at the moment we start answering it, we've now limited. But over here, millions, not thousands, millions of light workers around the planet are asking these questions because they've learned how to work with the laws. See how powerful we become to make our world better? Over here, oh my God, there's a drought. Over here, oh, let's send some compassion. We know drought is a function of that area of the planet needing to learn compassion. That's what's mirroring. Over here, the law of truth teaches us that. Over here, the law of cause and effect tells us if we ask a question, we will get an answer that we want. If we ask the question in a way that we want the answer. See the power we have? Okay. So let's go law of radiation, law of attraction, and law of circulation. Then I'll stop there. There's more laws, but these are always my favorite ones. Law of radiation. So over here in third dimensional reality, we get like a sickness of breast cancer is a good example. Breast cancer, you're a victim, right? Over here, the law of radiation is a perfect example. What we radiate out is coming from us, the creator. We are the one. We're aligned with the one. Our thoughts and beliefs are things that are real. They radiate out from us. What we're thinking and what we're believing turns into a pattern of belief, turns into a set of emotions. This is energetics. Thoughts, beliefs, emotions radiating out from us. We are the creator, law of creation. Law of creation is the law of one. There's a creator. You're the creator. We're all creators. So if we're having these, they're radiating out from us. Yeah? That's law of radiation. Whatever you create radiates out from. So in the example of breast cancer, over here, you're a victim. You, whoever. Over here, you're like, huh, how did I create breast cancer? What was I thinking? And what was I feeling? And what was I believing? Because I wasn't conscious of it. I didn't mean to create breast cancer or endometriosis or anything else, right? Mm-hmm. So we start to realize, what I radiate out from me as a creation is now law of circulation. What's the law of circulation? I see the law of circulation like a big figure 8. It just internally circulates through the field and perpetuates whatever you're radiating out. And we have law of attraction. Everybody knows that one, right? You attract to you what you think and what you feel. So, if you're thinking thoughts and beliefs and emotions that are creative, they're radiating out from you. I mean, you always are thinking thoughts, beliefs, and emotions. They're radiating out from you. They're circulating through the field. They're attracting back to you. Radiation. Radiation, circulation, attraction. See how those 3 laws work together? So now how does breast cancer get created in this example? Coming back to the breast cancer, how does it get created? Yeah, you're thinking thoughts that have to do with maternity, maternal, breasts are nurturing. You're thinking thoughts about your nurturing. And those thoughts are vibrating in harmony with what?
Fear.
Yeah. Fear. And what cancer, just to go to cancer, what does cancer vibrate in harmony with for the healers? Vibrates in harmony with anger and resentment. So, over here we don't know that we're the creators of it. Over here we become very conscious of how these laws work. We're creators. If we're thinking, believing things, they're radiating out, they're circulating, bless you, through the field. Bless you.
Thank you.
You know what a sneeze is? Energetically?
No.
It means what you're just thinking is important to pay attention to. It's just like, it's not a universal law that it's not universally true, but there is a lot of evidence that when you sneeze, it means what you were just thinking is real and important. You can trace yourself back. Anyway, so we can see how these things are created, right? Now, when we look at disease, every form of disease is created in the consciousness of the being. So when you start becoming conscious of this, you realize, changing the thoughts, changing the beliefs, changing the emotions, now something different is going to radiate out from me, the creator. Something different is going to circulate through the field. Something different is going to attract back to me. If I become more conscious of my own thoughts, my own beliefs, my own emotions, my own programs, my own cycles, my own energy field. Now I'm going to have a different experience because I'm not going to keep hating on myself or anyone else. I'm going to choose something else. What's the solution to cancer? What heals cancer?
Forgiveness.
Forgiveness. It's the ultimate healer for cancer. All right, so is this making sense to everybody? Everyone with me? I know we just covered like a huge amount of ground. But it's really all about really anchoring ourselves more fully into 5D. So, okay, any questions today? Anyone? All right, so at least that's a good foundation because what we're going to do with the healing part of tonight, I'll talk briefly about the animals too and how they're, anyone in the room animal lovers? Okay, everybody. That's my whole tribe, is animal lovers. So I'll talk a little bit about the animals before we do the healing. But what we're going to do with the healing is we're basically going to go into our own unconscious. We're going to start clearing out all of these belief systems, points of view, perspectives, programs that keep us having experiences that are undesirable, that are fear-based. So if you have, going to the example of endometriosis, you have a fear of having endometriosis or breast cancer, that can be cleared. You don't need to carry that anymore. It's just an energetic construct that's cycling and repeating from the unconscious mind, turns into a program, a pattern that's like a looping pattern, radiates out from you. You get the message, right? We can change that. That's part of what healers do. What healers do is basically, I mean, not all healers work the same. Some healers, you know, we could do hands-on healing. I can do hands-on healing with every one of you, and you will all have like some blissful, wonderful experience. But why? That's not, why would I put myself in the middle here when I can go straight to Source, and Source can work right with every person as an individual? Different healers work differently, is what I'm saying. Some healers put their hands on you, and what they're doing effectively is channeling through energy. They may or may not, depending on the healer, believe that the energy is coming through them to you, just depending on their belief systems. But for me, the way I work is, I can do that, and I started that. I started that way. I was a Reiki master, got my Reiki master, was my first healing modality I started working with. But now I know how to go straight to Source and let Source do the healing. What do I need to touch you for? You don't need me to touch you. Source is working with you. But what I'm doing is acting as a facilitator, really, taking direction. This is what needs to come through for this group. I'm translating that. My brain is accessing multi-dimensions of consciousness, and I'm just following the guidance and the direction, right? And then you can make certain requests. So if you, for example, let's say addictions are going on. Let's say you're working with people who have addictions, or you are overcoming your own addictions, whether it's food or work addiction. Over here we got slave, slave driver, right? It's a pattern. Slave, slave, we're working too hard, not having enough fun, that's an addiction. Or whether it's alcohol, food, whatever it is, spending. You know, untold numbers of you can pull all that, you can clear it from the field. Right? But let me just say, the law of free will dictates that the person has to be a free will participant. So if the person says, I don't want it, we have to honor that. That's the law of free will.
I have an issue. It's a question and an issue. The field that I'm in, I receive and deal with a lot of people with addiction and depression. Just a mental health therapist, so I like to say clinician. So of course I'm dealing with a lot of this on a consistent basis. And when I begin to find out throughout the years, we just like to complain. Not change anything,
Right.
just complain. So
yeah. Okay,
Where you-
well,
where
let's,
you go
talk,
from
let's
there?
talk about addictions, and let's talk about the complaint thing.
Okay.
So over here, when people just like to complain, it's usually because they don't realize they have something going on in their unconscious. It's all, everything here is unconscious. By the way, there's so many benevolent beings. I don't know, for those of you who are seers, there are light beings all over this room. There's so many orbs of light in this room. I don't know if any of you can see them, but they're freaking all over the place. I haven't been in like a unity church in a while. It's incredible how many light beings are in here. Okay, which is lovely. It's the energy of this room, right? Because they do so many love-based things. So, okay, I won't get distracted. So, they're very distracting though, these love beings, because they just want to bring in love. And okay, it's good. Let me get the healing. So let's stay on this topic. So what happens here is everyone's unconscious, and they have looping. One of the biggest challenges is looping programs. A looping program goes off over and over and over again. And a lot of times when people just want to complain, it's because they're running a looping program and they're not even conscious of it.
right.
I'm going to give you a solution for that to help people, but let me stay with this addictions thing, so remind me about the solution.
I work with addiction.
Yeah, I know there's a few people in the room who do. So that's one thing, but understand what we're talking about clearing out from beings in the third dimensional realm. Number one, we have beliefs. So our beliefs, what we believe to be true, will create our reality because we're creator beings. The problem is most of our beliefs are happening on an unconscious level. So if you have an unconscious belief system that you're not worthy of all the money that you have, and you're not even conscious of it, you will self-sabotage. You will lose all the money at some point. Now, at the same time, if you have a program of self-sabotage, that's also going to self-sabotage you, because that's a program. That's not a belief system. It's not like you walk around going, I'm going to be a self-sabotager. No, that's a belief. That's a program, an archetypical program, a pattern that cycles and repeats. Over here in 3D, everything cycles and repeats. You repeat it over and over and over again until you learn the lesson, which is not that you have to learn lessons. That's a belief system too. It's a program. You got to learn lessons. You don't have to learn any lessons. You just have to vibrate out of that reality. But it does involve, unfortunately, learning lessons, especially if we have belief systems that we have to learn lessons. So all this stuff's happening unconsciously. You have belief systems, beliefs that form belief systems. You have points of view. So here's a good point of view. People have a point of view and a belief system that Jesus was hung on a cross. That triggers a lot of people when I say that. Everybody, anyone in this room believe that? Most people will believe it. It's not actually true. It's not actually true. But over here, you say that, you could really trigger some people. Okay, so that's a belief system. Same with the addictions. Now, beyond belief systems, we have patterns, archetypical patterns and other patterns, and we have programs. What is a program? Program, if you think about like a computer, you have Excel on your computer. Doesn't matter if you know the program's there or not. When you turn on the computer, Excel is there. Now, you don't have to turn on Excel for the program to be on the computer functioning. It just means if you go into Excel, you open it up, there it is. But it's on the computer whether you're conscious of it or not, whether you're using it or not. That is a program. We have that. We are energetic fields. Some people in quantum physics would call us holographic, we're holograms. Spiritual, we're a dream, God's dream, dreaming of itself. However you define it, doesn't matter. We have programs. So over here, these programs are running. Now, how does this all relate to addiction or any other illness or sickness or disease, disorder, whatever it is? These are all, we could call them layers, even though it's not linear. There's these layers. You have belief systems, you have programs, you have patterns, you have, now we didn't get to implants. But all this stuff is going on. So when you have an addiction, it's all entangled. You understand? Think about the biggest, hugest knot. Think about 20 sterling silver necklaces that are really thin, and they're all knotted up and entangled, and you're trying to get it unknotted, and you're like, this is so knotted. And meanwhile, the program's going off. Oh, this one just started getting more pulled in. This one got pulled. This one created a tighter knot. That's addiction. Now we're going to add another layer to addiction. The other reason, this is why addictions are so sticky. The other layer to addictions is that what you have is non-benevolent beings. Who knows what non-benevolent beings are?
Not friendly.
Yeah, well, they're not friendly. So you do have in this range of all that exists, right? Understand? Divine Source has no judgment of creation. It's creating all that exists. And if we're aspects creating shadow and things to be afraid of, someone's got to represent that. So in the non-physical realm, you got demons. It's real. You got demonics. You got entities. They don't have bodies. You got hitchhikers in the non-physical realm. You got plasma beings. I mean, anyone ever go out to the beach, look up and see like plasma, kind of weird squiggly things out of your eye? Yeah, that's plasma beings. It's real. It's not, they're non-physical, and there's degrees of consciousness, right? Because Source is conscious of itself.
Wait,
So,
I'm so sorry. I'm just like, wait, you mean those little lines that...
yeah, if you go out in this, I teach this in my psychic development class. If you go out and lay on the beach and you just look up at the sky without using your eyes, like let your eyes gaze over, sort of periphery. I mean, this is how you see orbs too, part of how you see orbs. It's how you see auras too. You let your eyes gaze over and you let yourself, allow yourself to reveal to yourself, to allow to be revealed that which exists, which is seeable, that you've been blocking out. You will see all kinds of lights and orby things and things darting and things squiggling. Now when they're light and they look like white or clear or luminescent, they're generally benevolent. They're of the light. But I mean, I have seen a gazillion times black things popping out of people and I'm like, oh, that guy's full of entities. Black, gray blobs, those are entities. So, yeah, makes sense? All right, but so when you're talking about addictions, entities are invading the field. That person's not sovereign. They're not sovereign, they're not liberated, so they're being controlled by an entity. And the entity is usually saying, come on, drink, 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 drink some more, come on. Because why? Because when the soul steps out, when you're drunk, you're making a, I didn't even get into sacred contracts, but drunk, alcohol, whatever it is, substance abuse, some other entity has the ability to come in and take possession of this body. So that is part of why addictions are so hard to cure, because in this reality, they don't even acknowledge entities. They don't even believe they're real. It's woo-woo, that's crazy. They don't acknowledge demonics. That's The Exorcist. It's a movie. And by the way, that is such a joke, The Exorcist. So easy to clear a demonic. It's so easy. Imagine if you invoke the law of intent, consent, and authority. Law of intent, consent, and authority. Hear my free will now. It's against my free will to have an entity in my body. Entity, get out of my body. Get the hell out. I'm a sovereign being. I claim ownership over this body. It's my body. Now the entity can try to break the law, but the law is conscious going to step in. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Why would an
I haven't
entity,
finished this whole addiction thing. Sorry, go on.
why would an entity want to take over somebody's body? What benefit do they have from that?
Physicality.
Just
They're
they
non-physical
grow,
beings.
or
They are non-physical beings. So you have a body. And if you are not fully in your body, there's energetic space
Sure.
to inhabit a physical body. That's what an entity is. Hitchhikers, they're also hitchhikers. Sometimes some of these non-physical beings are hitchhikers trying to find their way to the light. They want to get to the light too, just like you do, and they don't have a body, and they are in this dense, heavy realm, and they're like, how do I get, oh, let me come to this, on this light worker. If I pop on this light worker, and this light worker does clearing and transmutes everything to the light, I get to go back to the light. Find my way to the light. That's what we're all living here. Make sense? Okay. All right, anyone have, all right, so let me just give you a tool for working with people who do looping patterns. This is a really good tool. Who just complain, or anything that's a looping pattern where someone just keeps doing it over and over again. It's called destroy and uncreate. It's very easy. So we're creator beings.
You said destroy?
Destroy and uncreate.
Okay.
We're creator beings creating this reality, and unfortunately sometimes we have what I call miscreations. Like something happens in your life and you're like, how the fuck did I create that, right? You're like, what did I do to create that reality? I don't even know. So just as much as you're a creator being, you can destroy and uncreate that which you don't want. And the words I use as a creator is I say, I destroy, uncreate, nix, nullify, cancel, clear, revoke, renounce, denounce, and send to the light this, whatever this is. Now, the moment you do that, what's happening is some density's coming up. You're going to notice. You're going to feel it or sense something shifting, some heaviness. So every time you identify something, you can just be, let's just destroy and uncreate it. Can we do that? Mm-hmm. And just, you state it. Destroy, uncreate, nix, nullify, cancel, clear, revoke, renounce, denounce, send to the light. Now you've just transmuted energy. Now you have to get the person to agree. But if you just start using that tool, even with yourself, you have a belief system that you're poor, you have a belief system it's never going to change, you have a belief system that life will never get good, whatever belief system you become conscious of, you can start saying, yeah, I destroy and create, nix, nullify, cancel, clear, revoke, renounce, denounce, send to the light.
it slower. Yeah.
That was good.
Destroy, uncreate, nix, nullify, nix, nullify, cancel, clear.
Cancel, clear.
You can just say cancel, cancel. People do that.
Cancel, clear.
Revoke, renounce,
Denounce.
denounce, and send to the light.
Send to the light.
To be forever transformed into love and light. Sending it back home to Creator. You're shifting, you're changing energy. Now, the thing is, a lot of people do cancel, cancel. You've probably heard, some of you have heard that, right? I just, for me personally, found cancel, cancel didn't go deep enough. It wasn't powerful enough for me. But that's a belief system too. I'm a healer. So when I'm a healer, I don't like it when I do a healing session and someone comes to me and says, well, this doesn't happen very much anymore. But in the earlier days, if I did cancel something and it didn't change for them, now I'm pissed. I'm like, give me a better tool. Hey, this is not a good enough tool if it's not helping.
Right.
So that's why I got that whole list.